today. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome into your daily sports and sports betting brand of record. I'm your boy, the coach, and we are here every single day live with our new partnership on Stadium. Wherever Stadium is, you will find us. Amazon Prime Video, YouTube TV, Roku TV, everywhere. Stadium app, watchstadium.com. We are there. Now, we are coming off an incredible night. This is why we love the NFL. We had an incredible primetime live last night. So much we want to relive it. We had two games that we didn't know what to expect. But the Buffalo Bills showed that they are a force to be reckoned with, 47 points. And what about the Washington Commanders? And this is how my crew did last night. My man Raphael doing work. Z-Man doing work. DG. I will deal with him in a single solitary moment. But you guys got to tune in live. Hashtag it pays to watch live. We are live every single morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And also every primetime game, unless we're preempted, you will see us live on Stadium at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And do not forget about DTL, the podcast. The audio drops around 2 p.m. Eastern every single day. And for you crew members, you premium members, you guys get the video of the podcast every single day. Now, as always, our man Howie Schwab is looking down. God rest his soul. And these are the selections today. As you come in the chat, you know the drill. Hit that like button and vote for me. Here are the selections. The Mets, they have been an absolute vibe. They're in Atlanta. This is the final week of the regular season. Mets Braves over 8, or let's go Mets Braves under 8. Then out here on the West Coast, the Dodgers, they still have to do work because the San Diego Padres are just playing so good in the National League West. Padres-Dodgers over 8. Padres-Dodgers under 8. Vote, and producer man will let me know at the end of the show exactly who we were playing with together, or as we like to say here in the DTL universe, synergy. Now, as many of you know, we continue to grow in the remote space. Stadium called us for a reason. Why? Because I got the best crew in the damn game. So without further ado, producer man, it's time for the picks. Shout out to Maddie in the chat. My coffee tastes better this morning thanks to Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. And that's exactly where we're going to start. I need the picks off the screen because I got something I need to say first and foremost as I welcome my crew in. He is the man from the Dirty Dirty, Big Chuck. Congratulations. Your boy from LSU showing out last night. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Coach. Crew. Yeah, it looks like I took the wrong dog. I should have rode with my man Jaden Daniels, but that correlation came through, so hopefully everybody kind of tuned into that. But, yeah, he definitely showed out. I kind of feel bad for Joe. It was a no-win proposition. So, yeah, happy to see one of them win, though.
Hey, Charles, you did not get the 15 seconds today. I just needed a good morning, Coach. That's all I really needed.
Morning, Coach.
He is stepping in today for our man Soupy, but Soupy's in the chat. Any questions for him, he will answer them for you in real time. DG, the man from Memphis, Tennessee. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, crew. We're 30 days away from the NBA season. Get excited already.
Memphis Grizzlies post game. The man is all over it. They're in Memphis. New sponsors, new chant, new everything. We're going to promote the hell out of it right here on DTL. Now, the man who does get the 15 seconds, the man who was locked and loaded last night. You're damn right. I'm looking right at you, big boy. He's our numbers guy. Raphael Esparza. 15 seconds is yours.
Morning, Coach. Good morning, crew. Yeet, everybody, because he has a belt this morning. WWE Raw was fantastic last night. That's all I'm going to give my 15 minutes of saying, because I was a little bit disappointed on Monday Night Football. It's kind of a boring bash. Yes, let's give Jaden Daniels all the praise, but he beat the Bengals, who are winless with that horrible defense. Pump the brakes a little bit, Coach. I said it, pump the brakes on my 15 seconds.
Wait a second. Now, I'm with you on Monday Night Raw. We had an incredible live audience last night for the last word, BTT, all of that. So that was great. But are you telling me that the first game since 1940 to not have a turnover, to not have a punt, 38-33, and you were not entertained? DG, how much did you love that game last night? Because I was thoroughly entertained by Jaden Daniels showing up and showing out.
I was really excited until he threw that touchdown pass because I was looking for another field goal. But listen, I've said it. I was ridiculed. Jane Daniels is the second best quarterback in the NFC East. Whoever you want to take in the first spot, I take Dak. But I just think that Jane Daniels is that good.
He is that good. And Charles, I'll be the first one to admit it. Whenever rookie quarterbacks step in, I'm kind of like Tom Brady. I'm waiting for them to fail. Not only did he look like the veteran last night, he severely outplayed Joe Burrow. And the fact that he's got legs like that, I think this kid, if he can stay healthy, because he's not very big, this kid could be special.
That's why I love the Commanders taking that pick. I thought he had some high upside, so I'm glad that they invested with him and believed in him. So I definitely loved him a lot more than Caleb Williams. But the Bears are kicking themselves this morning. So, yeah, love everything that Jane Daniels does. Multi-purpose, better passer than Lamar and can run just as well. It's a scary thought.
I wonder what it's like for a GM, say, of the Chicago Bears when they watch a performance like last night and the Commanders, who I'm trying to remember who on the show last night. DG, could it have been you that said the Commanders can't score touchdowns? Was it you that said the Commanders couldn't get into the end zone? Were you hanging out with the Chicago Bears GM in that front office too?
They kicked 7 field goals last week, Coach. 7. Okay. I just thought they had issues. I'm sorry. I didn't realize Jaden Daniels was going to turn into Brett Favre last night. I don't know. It was crazy.
Now, the other side of the
Bengals defense. Bengals defense.
I'm trying to figure out who's more of a negative Nelly, you or Curmudgeon Chris, who, by the way, last night, for everybody in the chat, hit the like button on your way in. Yes, Seabass was as annoying as you could possibly imagine because he and AB were kicking it in the club during the games. But, Raphael, if you're a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, you're 0-3. Doug Peterson said after the game, everything is on the table. This is a team that preseason everybody thought would be the class of their division. Now the Bills 3-0 looked amazing last night. And how about the fact that DeMar Hamlin was able to get an interception? What a feel-good moment that was. The Bills, they score 47. They look legit in a different way now.
Just like Z-Man says, I was totally wrong on the Bills. I thought they were going to take a step backwards, and they look legit better than what the Washington did against a horrible defense, but we already said that. I like the way the Bills they're playing as a team. There's no negativity on that sideline with Diggs that we saw all last couple of years. Bills are going to be a force. I'll be more scared than Buffalo than pretty much anybody else in that in that division. The Bills are a true story. They're going to be a tough out if they continue to play.
Shout out to Tony. He said, I had the Bills minus 4.5 and no sweat all night. That's exactly right. And the Bengals, 0-3. Jamar Chase, maybe you aren't the class of the AFC still. All right, a little bit later here on the show, here on Live on Stadium, we will look ahead. It's never too early on Tuesdays, every single Tuesday. We look forward to the big games in the NFL and try to beat the number. That's coming up in the Bs. But here in the A's, we've got some best bets to get to, and we need to have a big-time cash stacking day. So, DG, we called you in from the bullpen today. We called in the lefty. So I want you to start us off. Where are we going today?
We're going to go to the Indiana Hoosiers. We're going to take a little bit of a future look here. They're going against a Maryland team that is pretty good, but Indiana is one of the more underrated teams still. I can't believe I'm still saying that, but they are a very good team. We're going to take them at minus 6.5. Minus 115. So it's 15 pennies, as the cool kids say. But I believe that this team is very good. I'm going to look for them a first quarter score because Maryland likes to score as well. But I haven't seen all the books put them all out yet. So I want to kind of see my options before I put that out. But Indiana is very good. I think they win by a touchdown here.
Aren't they? And sometimes I get all of these press conferences and these quotes wrong. Don't they have the coach that came from James Madison?
Yes. The
right?
petty
Yes.
machete, Kirk Cinetti.
Yep.
Last week, I saw they replayed his opening press conference. Did you guys remember what he said when he got hired at Indiana? He goes, I just simply win games. Google me.
Oh,
Wow. And now they've gone out. They've laid it on everybody. UCLA appears to be a little bit better than we thought at LSU last week, and Indiana blew out UCLA. They might be for real in the Big Ten. Raphael, go.
Indiana's pretty much on solid 7 this morning in pretty much all books. And the Hoosiers got 63 votes for the rankings. If they were in the SEC, they would probably be ranked in the top 10, but they're in the Big Ten. But congratulations, Indiana, for those votes. Playing really good ball.
Look who's feeling himself this morning. You give somebody credit, and then you yank it right back. So, Raphael, you've got one big play today. And I got to tell you, last night I played the over personally, and it was over 9. I pushed on 2 overs. I pushed on the Phillies over 8 and the Giants Diamondbacks over 9. But they need to win. Why do you like them in the first half?
Yes, they lost yesterday, but they're coming off a 7-game road trip. So I'm going to give that a little bit of a bias of that loss. They're going to bounce back. Last time they played at home, they beat the Brewers 11-10. I just like the way they're going to bounce back today. Give me the Snakes at minus plus a nickel. First 5 innings, they're going to jumpstart quickly. I think they could put some runs quickly. A little bit shocked that this total is this low, only 8.5 around there when yesterday was 9. I think they bounce back and get the big W today.
Yeah, it's a full slate, and you got to be very, very careful, guys at home, and ladies, of course. Even though there's a full slate, there's only a few teams that still have something to play for. So play into the motivation. Look at teams that either haven't done the division yet, haven't got a wild card spot yet, but really look at motivation, and Arizona fits right into that discussion. All right, Soupy's got 2 plays. He's going to also do a future just like DG. Army minus 13.5. DG, you know anything about this game at all? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
No, I do like Army as a better team. I've drawn a blank on who they're playing, but I did look at that this morning, and I think that they are the better team, should win by 2 touchdowns.
Soupy, I know you're in the chat. If you could put in the chat who they're playing, I did not have a chance to look that up either. Help out everybody at home. Also,
Temple.
Mets Braves over 8, which was one of the selections for the crew today. So maybe you'll have a little synergy with the crew and with Soupy. Now, Charles, I know you normally are not used to waiting until the end, but Real Madrid, they've got themselves a big-time superstar. And you think today they score not once, not twice, but 3 times. Explain yourself.
We have some La Liga action midweek with the reigning champs, Real Madrid, highlighting the card with Los Blancos averaging 3 team goals at home this season, while Alaves, they arrive at the Santiago Bernabeu conceding an average of 2.5 team goals per contest away from the Basque Country. The home team, they should just be too strong in this spot, so we'll go ahead and ride Real Madrid, team total over 2.5. I could see a 3-0, 3-1 type of final score.
There are 3 games today in La Liga. I like it a lot. In fact, right now to my left, I've got kind of a split screen. I've got Our Beautiful Faces on Amazon Prime, but there's also a little Coppa Italia today. And there's an early game, Lecce and Sassuolo. You like that, Charles?
Lecce.
Sassuolo? Yeah. Got games all day in the soccer pitch. Follow my man on social media. He's always got free plays. He always has information. He always takes care of you. He's just a check mark. That's what's inside of him, green check marks. All right, we're just getting started here. And as we look at baseball too, Raphael, I know that it's very, very easy as we have about 30 seconds left to not do a deep dive. Do you agree with me on the way to bet baseball right now?
Yeah, just pick on the teams that still have something to play for, but also look at the teams who brought back a lot of young stars on that lineup that are trying to make a name for next year. So it's kind of a wish-wash, but I would concentrate on the teams that are still trying to make a playoff seeding push or trying to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's exactly right. When you look at the standings today, my goodness, Philadelphia, we're going to talk about them on our YouTube channel at one of the breaks because they just wrapped things up last night. The Mets, Arizona, Atlanta, several teams that are still in the wild card race, and we will discuss. But it's time for our first break. We've got commercials now in our little world. But when we come back, we start to look ahead. It's never too early for the NFL. Also, a little bit later in the show, we're going to prop it up. What are our prop bets for the day as well? We're just getting started. It's DTL in the morning live on Stadium. And we continue on here on our YouTube page. And, well, it's like the story, DG, that never stops going. And it is Reggie Bush. He is suing the Pac-12, USC, the NCAA. And his attorney said it's not about Reggie Bush. It's about setting a precedent for using his name, image, and likeness. Do you think Reggie Bush still has a case for this?
Just let it go. I think there's a movie with Elsa. I'm not sure, but she just says, let it go. Like, I get it. You're trying to help out the other people, but you need to be a little bit more, I guess, newer or I guess a former guy not too long ago, but just let it go, man. I think it's been too long.
It really has, but I feel like Raphael, he's trying to parlay his getting the Heisman back, getting his number back, and saying, listen, they'll cut me a check to make this go away.
Yeah, I just think he's trying to get his name positive again. I mean, anytime you mention Reggie Bush, you always remember he got the Heisman taken away. Everything of all that negativity, even the tush push, the first tush push was Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart. I just think he's trying to get his name back positive, not negative. So I'm okay. I was just glad that my name wasn't being on that list of being sued because he named everybody. So I was just happy my name wasn't on there.
It seems like there's a lot. And Kevin said, did he get his Heisman back? He may not have. I know he's trying to. But he got a lot of things back. Certainly got his number back from USC. Big Chuck, your thoughts?
Spurned X. He's going for everything. So he's last one on the list. I guess that's the dog he's trying to get back. So, yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah, he's been bitter for quite a while. So, I mean, I can't say I don't blame him, but at some point you definitely have to let go.
It really, really is. Robbie says, hey, get as much money out of the crooked NCAA as you can. Kevin says, this just in. Raphael, you are on that list.
Chris Jericho put me on the list.
Yeah. God, I forgot about that too. Oh man, I'm loving wrestling right now. I'm loving it. This is the bread and butter. When you head into the last week of September and you're having such a fun time, excuse me, and you get to do this show on a Tuesday because of all of you, man, I couldn't think of anything better than previewing the NFL. We're back on Stadium in just 5 seconds. All right, welcome back to DTL in the morning, live on Stadium. Wherever Stadium is found, you will find us. Amazon Prime Video, watchstadium.com, the Stadium app, Roku TV, YouTube TV. I am your boy, the coach, driving this bus every single day, and I got the best crew in the business. Now, it's never too early to start to look ahead and try to beat the numbers just a little bit, especially with how crazy the NFL has been through 3 weeks. It's been almost impossible. The books have just been cashing in. But game number 1, and in the NFC East, old school rivalry. But now we've got 2 teams, DG, that desperately need a win. The Cowboys, after getting beat down the last 2 weeks at home, they're going on the road. According to DraftKings, this will be Thursday Night Football, -4.5. The money line for the Giants, +170. The total sitting at 43.5. DG, how is your initial thoughts on this one?
This rivalry, I guess it used to be a rivalry between the Cowboys and the Giants, has been lopsided. Like, the Cowboys have dominated the Giants through and through. I liked them to cover that number at -4.5. I believe they've only lost to the Giants once since 2017, I believe it is. And that game, the quarterback was Andy Dalton. So I think the Cowboys come out, they're pissed off. I think they're going to get a lot of things fixed. Plus, I don't think there's a lot of options on the offensive side that really hurts their defense, which has really been hurt. So I think the Cowboys bounce back.
How good did Andy Dalton play on Sunday? Are you kidding me? Carolina. By the way, not to get off track, have you guys seen, they're not always politically correct, but have you seen those accounts that do the parodies from the post-game press conferences, and basically they put different words in their mouth? Have you seen those?
Yes.
They're hilarious, and they have one on Andy Dalton from Sunday. If you guys haven't seen it on Twitter, they're not politically correct at all, but man, are they pretty funny sometimes. They are pretty funny sometimes. Raphael, let me come over to you, because the Cowboys preseason, they got all the talent in the world. They locked up Dak the day of their first game, 5 hours before. It was all feel good. They blow out the Browns. Then they get beat down by the Saints. They get beat down by the Ravens. That was not a 3-point game. And now they go on the road, and this is the worst spot. A team that sucks, and you're also in a must-win situation to put pressure on yourself. Your thoughts?
This one's a very interesting matchup because the Giants are coming off a W. This number -4 in Vegas, pretty much everyone else has 4.5. What's the betting public going to do? Are they going to think that we're going to see the Cowboys, who have lost not 1, not 2, but 3 home games, their last home games, blown out in those 3 home games? What do you do if you're the Cowboys? You're just happy you're leaving home. Go on the road, play a team that you've beaten easily. I like the Cowboys. I'm hoping this number comes down. I'm hoping the public thinks, ooh, the Cowboys stink. I'm going to take the Giants at home. I'm hoping to get a better number because I think the Cowboys roll on this one.
And maybe they'll look, Charles, at the score that the Giants had last week against the Commanders after what Washington did last night. They only lost by 3, 21-18. Maybe that will allow this number to come down. You never know. You never know. Your take.
Yeah, the Cowboys have definitely owned this series, but I was taking a different angle. I was actually going back to looking at the total. I think we could get back to our primetime unders in this one. I think we may see a more of a defensive battle or Dallas doing all the scoring. So that's kind of how I was looking the side. It's just primarily been the Cowboys in this series. So, yeah, I'm definitely looking at this under. I think it keeps creeping down. I think it was 44.5 when it opened. I'm seeing some 44s, and we may see 43.5s by time or 43s by game time.
You're absolutely right. By the way, John says Daniel Jones probably going to have 100 rush yards against the Cowboys. I mean, Lamar Jackson did. He went absolutely bananas against the Cowboys last week. All right, game number 2. And this is, admittedly, I can separate my fandom from objectivity. And Patrick Mahomes said it best. He goes, I don't think I've been playing very well. And he hasn't. 4 interceptions in the first 3 games, but they have won each and every game. So as we look at this first featured game on the road, is that an 8? Is that an 8 on the road against the Chargers, who lost by double digits a week ago to Justin Fields and the Steelers? Then you got the Vikings and Green Bay. Then you got the Bengals and Panthers. DG, which game on here do you see a number that you particularly like?
That 8 number, we know that the Chiefs normally don't cover just in general, but that 8 number for the Chiefs is obviously in the favor of the other side. And so if it's me, I'm looking at that Chiefs game and seeing if I can take the other side at +8. So that's where I would look, just because a touchdown, and I don't think the Chiefs care how they win. They just want to win.
Go ahead and hit that like button for me. Shout out to Chicago Pat. He says, I got my parlays. Gonna just need to wait for the exclusive picks. Whomever isn't a member, I strongly suggest you do so right now. Chicago Pat, thank you very much. The check is in the mail for you. If you guys aren't a member of the crew, what are you waiting for? You get so much extra content daily. DTL podcast video. You get crew exclusive picks. You get all of it for one very, very, very low price. Thank you, Chicago Pat. Now, Raphael, let me come over to you, because that 8 was like a blinking red light to me. And you know me, you call them the Kansas City coaches. Now, I would also look at them as a teaser, because I don't think there's a world that we live in that the Chiefs could beat the Chargers by 14 in Los Angeles. Do you?
I don't know. Everyone thought the same thing with the Bengals last night, teasing them, and look what happened.
Oh.
The only thing that's different about this game is there's probably no Justin Herbert, and they're missing not one but 2 offensive line for khakis. So I don't know if I'm going to take the Chargers, even though the Chiefs don't cover their games. But I'm going to go a little bit off 6. I just got a text while you were talking. There's 2 games circled in the NFL. It just came through: Saints, Falcons, and Tampa Bay. Game, because of the hurricane that's coming on. And circle means there could be a possible movement or possible time change. So keep an eye out for those 2 games, because Atlanta is supposed to get that storm after it hits Florida. So those 2 games are now circled, so we can see something different come across those 2 games.
But why would Atlanta be circled if they play inside of a dome?
The flooding is supposed to curve up, and they're saying when it passes Florida, we can probably see Hurricane 2 or 1 type of rainstorm. So if it's flooding around there, what about the teams getting there, the fans getting there? It's not about the hurricane itself; it's about the fans.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. By the way, the Bucks are hosting the Eagles this week. Both teams are 2-1, so very important game there, Charles. And the Saints and the Falcons. Saints are 2-1. The Falcons are 1-2 after that last-second loss to the Chiefs. But as we get back to these, particularly, Charles, when you look at Green Bay, because whenever AB's on the show, we made all these jokes about Malik Willis. How's he even in the NFL? What can he do? He can't even throw the ball. Last year, all he did was run it and throw screen passes. Now, all he has done is win 2 games in replacement for Jordan Love, who looks like he's going to be out again this week. Why would you rush him back? 2.5 against a Minnesota team that's played really, really good, and Sam Darnold has looked like an all-world quarterback. Your thoughts on this one?
I would actually look at the money line with the Packers. Anything minus 2.5 and below, I usually just look at the money line. That way, it just takes out that any little the tricky 2.5s. You'd be surprised how many times they come in. And then, of course, these unders just keep coming in. I think we could possibly see all unders. And then getting back to that, also to the Chiefs game, you read my mind on the teaser. I would actually look at probably teasing that. The only thing is it's at looks like they're at the 8, so I'd hate to put it on an even 1. But also you could look at the Chargers team total under. I think that might be a good position to look at. But as far as the Packers, I don't like them on the money line around minus 130.
I'm kind of with you. That's what I like to do as well, is if it's minus 130, minus 140, I will absolutely, especially in the NFL, where DG, it's not about style points like it is in college a lot of the time. It's about just winning the game. Now, I want to go to the game that Rick refers to in the chat as yuck, because the Panthers, and this is why we love the NFL, they go to wherever they played last week, Arizona. Where did Carolina play last week? I'm drawing a blank. No, it wasn't Arizona.
Raiders.
Who did they beat?
Raiders.
Oh, Raiders.
Vegas.
Oh, hell yeah. That was my heel coach. To the Raiders. They scored 36. Andy Dalton, 3 first half touchdown passes. Can that continue? Because the way now the NFC South looks, everybody's got a loss. So the Panthers only like a game back.
I don't believe in the Panthers still. Look, like, just Andy Dalton isn't good. I know he looked good, but let's just chalk it up to his first game back and just kind of playing well at one point. But I just don't think they're that good. Thielen might be out as well. He had an issue where he got hurt. So there could be some issues on the receiving side. But all in all, I believe that Joe Burrow can score enough points somehow, some way.
When you're 0-3, Raphael, and you are barking and you're chirping and you're doing all the stuff that Cincinnati was doing previous to the Kansas City game, then you lose that last second. And then you have Jaden Daniels, who looks like an all-world quarterback. And I would be very excited if I'm a Commanders fan right now. But we're going to pump the brakes. We understand it's only 1 week. But if you're the Bengals, who are a preseason favorite to do some damage, what's the mindset heading into a game against the Panthers team that nobody like DG respects at all, despite 36 in Vegas?
I kind of lean towards Carolina. They ran the ball pretty well last week. Herbert, I think, had 131 rushing yards. So we also what the Bengals defense looked like. And now you're telling me the Bengals are playing on a short week and have to go to a Carolina team that's rejuvenated with the red rifle now at center. This one's going to be interesting because the betting public will still look at the Bengals because Joe Burrow and the names that the Bengals have, and the people at the betting windows or on their phones can name me 5 players for the Carolina Panthers. So Bengal money will come in. I'm looking at maybe some Panthers action.
Charles, can you name 3 players on the Carolina Panthers?
Well, let's see. Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen, and Andy Dalton.
Wow. Very nicely done. The pie is now in my said face right there. I thought you'd get stumbled on that. Deontay Johnson, by the way, Charles, looked amazing last week, and it's amazing what can happen and how the body language changes when you've got a quarterback making great throws and you come out with a really fast start. How impressed with you? And do you believe in the Panthers? Because DG, he's not a believer.
I'm very impressed. Yeah, I like that 4.5 with the Panthers. And I misspoke. I think this is the actual. I think I see 2 overs on the card that I like, and this is one of them. I think we would probably see points in this one also. So yeah, I definitely like them. I think it was 5.5 when they opened. I think it's went down to 4.5 now. So I was hoping that the Bengals would win, so that way we would there would be more love for the Bengals. So kind of tricky on that one, but yeah, I definitely like them catching 4.5, and I think we'll see some points in this one.
Mark says Chuck doesn't even need Jeopardy music. Well done, sir. Well done, Big Chuck. All right, that's our NFL look ahead, and you always want to look at the numbers. 4.5, change from 5.5. It matters. Still to come here on DTL in the glorious Tuesday morning on Stadium. It's time to prop it up. Where are my guys going in the prop department? And also, it's time to educate and entertain. You're watching live DTL on Tuesday on Stadium. We're back. And we continue on here on our YouTube page throughout the break. And when we look at baseball, and DG, we're going to have Vince Russo on throughout the playoffs on Wednesdays. He's a baseball aficionado, and he is currently a very good ranter of a lot of things. But the Phillies have got to be a team that I was a little shocked. First time since 2011, they clinched last night. And if they can get enough home games, I think the Phillies have got to be considered kind of an underdog pick to go to the World Series out of that side of things. Yes?
The Phillies have a good pitching trio, I guess, and so that's where it comes to me. Is I look at their pitching to be good, but also Schwarber leading off, and they have a lot of guys that are very scrappy. I know that Bryce Harper gets a lot of the love, but realistically, there's a lot of guys that are just scrappy all through that lineup, and so I do like them to be in most games, and that's all you want to be in baseball. It's just be in the game.
And Charles, as we look at it, they still have a lot to play for because home field throughout for them, very important. They have 93 wins. So do the Dodgers, but they have one more loss than LA does. So they've got to continue to play out this string. Yes?
Absolutely. Yeah. Home field advantage is everything. Even though they had it last season and the bats just went silent on them, it was very disappointing because they were red hot until they ran into that D-backs club after really like the third, fourth game. So, yeah, home field advantage is always a plus, especially when you have the likes of the Dodgers that you're competing with. The Brewers are scrappy also, and those pesky D-backs. So it's just a matter of their bats staying hot. If they can stay hot all the way through, I think this is a dangerous side.
There is no question about it. Raphael, your thoughts on the Phillies?
It's all about their hitting. We saw they were a complete dud last year. Their pitching was outstanding in the playoffs. They just couldn't score runs. Keep an eye out for the Padres. They're sneaky. But the Phillies, plus 475 to win the World Series, that's a great hedge ticket if you can grab it now. Maybe there's a couple of 5-1s if you shop. I think BetMGM has 5-1 right now. That's a nice ticket to have because if their bats get woken, they're going to be a tough out.
There's no doubt about it. Phillies, a lot still to play for. And they're kind of my de facto other favorite team when I'm not rooting for the Royals. All right, we're about to come back. Still a lot to talk about. It's time to prop it up. But also, we're looking to educate and entertain. We're back on Stadium. All right, it's time to prop it up. Welcome back. I am the coach. We have just crossed the bottom of the hour in the East, just past 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Out here in the West, it's 7:32 a.m. Pacific time. Now, we love to do the show more than you know every single day. We separate our straight picks from our prop picks. So, DG, let me start with you, big boy, because I always know I can count on you. WNBA is very, very important for us here at DTL. Where are you headed today, sir?
It's a Tuesday. We're in the playoff. It's ladies' day. We're going to go Chelsea Gray over 11.5 points. She has been playing very well lately, and so I expect her to get some points here. They really need to answer this and win a game where they almost lost it last game. She had a game of 13-16 versus Seattle, so I'm going to go with over the points here. Then we're going to go with Skylar Diggins-Smith. She's playing best for the most part in this series, but I think that she is going to have 16 points in 10 of the last 12 games, 4 or 5 against the Las Vegas Aces. They have to win. Seattle has to win this game. Count on Skylar Diggins-Smith to go over 15.5 points at -110.
I love 10 out of 12. That's a deep dive. Do you want to do the work? I didn't think so. Now, shout out to our man Seth in the chat. He's pulling what I like to call a DG. He says, damn, the boss called me in for a meeting. Great show, guys. Have to catch the rest later. Don't forget to hit the like button. Always looking out for the brand, Seth. Always looking out for the brand. That is what we call a DG, right, DG?
That's true. Sorry.
That's true. The new boss. At least, Raphael, they like DG at his new job. That's a positive for us. He's loved there. He's also loved here.
It's always good to have the boss love you. Trust me. I've had some bad bosses, but I'm going with DG with the ladies' night because what my boys, Beastie Boys, used to say, "Hey, ladies, it's playoff evening. Give me Aja Wilson, MVP Wilson." That's right. I'm taking an under. Coach hates unders, but I'm under contract to play unders. Under 11.5 rebounds per game. She has not been hitting the boards as she used to. Last game she only had 7 rebounds. She's hit this prop bet 4 out of 5 times against Seattle. She's going to get her points, but rebounds will be missing. She's probably only going to get 8 or 9 rebounds. She's only averaging 8 boards her last 5 games. I think she crushes the points, but rebounds will be nowhere to be found.
Who said the ladies thing, Raphael?
Beastie Boys did that.
Beastie Boys said, "Hey, ladies," like that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Very interesting. Afraid. Good
Did I
day,
just
guys.
age myself?
No, I'm just
okay.
asking questions. I'm just trying to see what reactions I get from my crew. That's all. There's no underlying motives. Much. All right,
Cool.
Soupy is on a couple of baseball props. Framber Valdez over 6.5 strikeouts for the Astros as they close in on looking really good for the playoffs. And then Aaron Judge. Haven't talked a lot about him recently for the Yankees, over 1.5 total bases. That is plus money. Whenever you can get Aaron Judge at plus money on that bet, you take it. All right, Big Chuck. They're asking in the chat if you like over 9.5 corners, but you have 6.5. So why are they asking me about 9.5? Because you have a team total, yes?
I like the 6.5 more because I'm not sure how many Alaves will contribute. I think I went with the 6.5 because Real Madrid, they're averaging 6.7 on the season. They should have the bulk of the possession, so it's going to be one-way traffic. I mean, they could get to 10, but I think it's safer just to ride with Real Madrid to get at least 7 corners.
All right, very good. That's a very good education for those of you who may not have done a lot of soccer betting, that when you have a team that's going to dominate the possession like Real Madrid probably will today, that means the opposition probably won't get a lot of corner kicks. Maybe 1, maybe 2, but Real Madrid will dominate, probably have the ball 70 to 75 minutes out of the 90 minutes. That's coming from a next level soccer capper. Know what I mean, Charles? You feel me? If you know, you know. Now, we've done all of our props. There are a couple stories out there that literally are making my brain hurt. And I want to see what my crew thinks about them. It's time to educate and entertain. All right, gentlemen, this is the story that just keeps on giving. We have been following the Dan Campbell saga in Detroit City. And what happened and what he released last week, he said that due to people showing up when they lost, he lives in a public community, not behind a gate, nothing, about a $4.5 million home. He said he had to sell his house and move behind a gate because there's some crazy fans out there that are blaming him. Well, I don't know that I would go to his house, but I would certainly blame him for the losses. Take the field goal, Dan. But DG, it came out today, courtesy ESPN.com, that it is one of his daughter's classmates who accidentally leaked the address on social media to start all of this outrage. I have a daughter. DG, you have 2 daughters. How much can we blame this young lady for costing Dan Campbell probably a couple of $1 million because he had to buy a new house? Your take, sir.
Listen, I don't know how old this kid is. So I don't want to throw stones just yet. But to everybody else, quit being weird. Like, I just don't get it. Like, let humans be humans. Like, there's no reason for you to be a weirdo and try to go after somebody. Like, it's not that big. Like, I've never understood the fact and the infatuation with all these so-called superstars or coaches or whoever it is. Just leave people alone. Like, get an autograph, yes, but don't be weird.
Apparently, this happened right after they lost to the 49ers in the playoffs. And you remember he had all those questionable calls. He went for 4th down 3 times. He didn't kick the field goal. They probably, you never know, the game changes, but he refused to kick a field goal. So that makes more sense that when this leaked was right after the 49ers. By the way, speaking of being weird, you guys saw that Travis Kelce, Raphael, had to buy a new home behind a gate. He lived in a high-rise penthouse, no security. That's how Kansas Cityans are. And now, because of Taylor, he had to buy a new home. I think it's between $6 and $10 million, pocket change for them. But now the black SUVs are sitting out front. How nuts is it that these fans are now going to the homes of a Kelce or, in this instance, a Dan Campbell?
But first, Kelsey bought a home not because of his name. He bought a home because he's dating Taylor Swift. It has nothing to do with his last name. I remember back in the day, if we had beef, we would just toilet paper someone's house. We wouldn't put their house in social media because we didn't have social media back there. But this is a case that I had to deal with when I was an oddsmaker in Vegas. You never thought the head oddsmaker would leave the sportsbook after his shift when everyone's mad if they lost. I had a back entrance to get to my car. So I can kind of understand that we live in a 24-hour social media outtake where anyone can go on find an address, social security number. This is the day we live in. Welcome to 2024 because it's only going to get worse.
Oh, gosh, I certainly hope not, but you're probably right. Big Chuck, Dan Campbell, great dude, not a great head coach, but this is banana land. This has to stop.
Absolutely. I mean, I wonder if there's any legal action that can be taken for them releasing personal information. So I wonder if he would take that route. So I'm not a fan of them dropping the address like that. So that's kind of bush league. And it looks like it was a teenage females that did that also. So
Yeah.
she was probably really in her feelings.
Are you on the same show that we're on, Charles? I believe I said that at the beginning of this segment.
Oh, I thought you said you weren't aware of how old she was. My apologies.
Yes, I didn't say how old she was. You're right. DG, go.
No, I was going to say I didn't know how old she was either. So I'm glad you said that, Charles.
I don't have any kids, so it doesn't matter to me.
Oh, we know that. You're like Uncle Raphael to my kids. By the way, can you imagine Dan Campbell suing a 15-year-old girl for releasing? Can you imagine them in the courtroom together? Oh, that would be bananas. But I've seen
public
crazy
knowledge. Isn't your home address public knowledge? Back in the day, you had phone books where you can just find someone's address. Phone books are those books of kids that used to come in yellow pages you get delivered at your home. That's what a phone book was. Google it.
Real quick, Phil Winmore says, Coach loves DG. He's loved on the Weekend Wager show, says Robbie. Coach, you're welcome to drop by anytime. DG, did I not show up last Friday? Did I not?
You did. And I know that it was not like prepared because you went in on Better Days Ahead, Mark, and it was the funniest thing. I loved every second of it. If you want to hear it, go back and watch the replay or listen to the replay. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's simply what I do. It's simply what I do. And Texas Joel says, a DG is when you show up late to the show. Come on. Who's asking that? Texas Joel? I don't have time to deal with that. Now, speaking of dealing, how about this? When an owner, 63 years old, writes an apology letter to a fan base, and DG, that's what the fans of the Oakland A's are dealing with today. They're starting their final week ever playing at the Oakland Coliseum. Then for the next 25, 26, 27, 3 years, 3 seasons, they're going to play in Sacramento. And then in 2028, their stadium will be ready in Las Vegas. Do you think the Oakland A's fans want an apology letter from the owner?
Coach, there's a song that comes to mind for this, and it's too late to apologize. So I don't think there's any reason that we need to hear an apology. The Oakland A's fans do not want an apology. Deuces, see you later. We're out. Like, there's no reason we're hanging out with you, dude. You're not that cool. We're never going to be friends again. Sorry. Just leave it.
Raphael, this is bananas to me. Why at this point? And he says we tried 5 different ways to stay, and we just couldn't make it happen, which means we tried 5 different ways to get money from the city, and it didn't happen. But an apology letter? Come on.
Yeah, I thought that was ridiculous. They needed a new stadium. If you've ever been there, their rats were bigger than the hot dogs that they were serving in there. It was a horrible, horrible stadium. They needed a new stadium. So I'm kind of glad that they're leaving because it's an awful stadium. But my girl, Jessica Kleinschmidt, who's a reporter there, she's a reporter for Oakland A's. I'm sad that she's not going to have a job because she does fantastic work.
And that does suck. Big Chuck, you got 15 seconds.
Yeah, he tried every which way to reflect any type of blame in the situation about having to stay. So I bet secretly he wanted to leave, but he went out still trying.
Matt says, no, we don't want an apology. I grew up 25 minutes from Oakland. Stadium used to get 15-plus games a year. Apology not accepted. Matt, I think a lot of fans feel the way that you do. All right, still to come, who's going to hit a home run today? We're going to go the yard. And also, if you weren't here at the top of the show, don't even worry about it. We got the Whiparound as we continue. DTL live on Stadium on a gorgeous Tuesday. We're back. We continue on at YouTube in the morning. All of you OGs, if you know, you know. And here's the thing. Last night we talked about at the top of the show that the Jags could have everything on the table. It begs the question. There are several 0-3 teams, DG. At what point, because jobs are so precarious and teams don't really care about paying buyouts anymore, if you're Doug Peterson or another head coach of an 0-3 team or a bad 1-2 team, when do you start saying, I got to make changes and I've got to do it now?
I think it has to happen this week. Like, I don't know about changes of getting rid of people just yet, but I think it's changes of looking at players. And I think you do that, and maybe an OC or DC or whatever you're looking at. I think there has to be changes made now. And if not, then it's probably you that's going to have the change made too.
Raphael, it's a very difficult thing when you have a franchise quarterback like the Jags do. You got Trevor Lawrence, who everybody internally absolutely loves, but last night was an embarrassment. Not necessarily his fault. That was an onslaught, but something has to change with this football team and others.
Yeah, when we were doing the show yesterday, Mike McCarthy was the favorite to be the first head coach fired.
Mm-hmm.
Now who's the favorite? Doug Peterson is the favorite to be head coach. And now we're hearing Belichick rumors. Maybe he'll go to Jacksonville. So, yeah, their changes need to be made. I don't think they're going to be made anytime soon. The changes will be made after the season.
Jacksonville, where old coaches go to finish their careers. Tom Coughlin, what's up, big dog? Now, Big Chuck, got about 25 seconds. These 0-3 teams, these teams that start off slow, you want to have confidence in your team, but also you got to say, this is the NFL. We got to win, baby. We just got to win.
Absolutely got to win. And that was an embarrassing performance from Dougie P last night. I'm still mad about that one. So, yeah, they have to win. If 0-4 teams, it's just doomed season. So it's now or never going into week 4.
Greg says Bob Stoops, new Cowboys coach. That would be quite the thought process, to bring in the old OU coach who was there last week for the Tennessee game as the Volunteers blew out OU. All right, we are back live on Stadium in just 5 seconds. All right, welcome back to DTL Live on a beautiful Tuesday morning. Thank you to all of you for tuning in live and making this the start of your day. I am the coach alongside DG, Big Chuck, and Raphael. Now, who's going to go to the yard today? This is kind of a new bet because a lot of teams just are out of the race, and DraftKings or BetMGM, wherever you get these, they want to make it a little bit more creative. So we've got Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. Big series between the Yankees and the Orioles. Another big series, Mets in Atlanta. How about Marcell Ozuna and Pete Alonso? Out here in Los Angeles, Mookie Betts and Shohei, who, unless you're Raphael, you know how great his year has been. Then Brent Rooker, Adolis Garcia, then Alex Bregman, Julio Rodriguez. You see the numbers to the right. Big Chuck, start us off. Who's going to go the yard today?
This is a hard one, but I have to roll with Mookie and Shohei plus 225 against the Padres. I mean, I really like that Judge and Soto, but yeah, for show purposes, Betts, Ohtani plus 225. It's a crazy number.
Yeah, it's a crazy number. By the way, Big Cheesy, my hat is absolutely perfectly fit around this gorgeous head of mine. Don't try to come at me just because you're sitting there jealous of us being on Stadium now and on YouTube TV and on Roku TV. Don't take a shot at me. I look fantastic, crystal clear on Amazon Prime, by the way. Sorry, guys, I digress. Raphael, who's going to go the yard today?
Boy, has time passed. Remember months ago, every time Judge was on this list, we were all picking Judge plus 185 with Soto. Now give me Mookie Betts and Shohei, because every time I see Shohei's name on here, I'm taking a plus 225 on Shohei.
It really feels that way, doesn't it, DG, that Shohei is starting to ramp up, and I cannot wait to see this cat finally play in the playoffs, something, maybe the only thing that Shohei has never done.
Obviously, I love Shohei just like everybody else. So I'm going to go a little bit different. I'm going to go Judge and Soto just because Judge, does hit well against Kramer. And so Kramer just gave up 2 home runs in his last outing. He probably gives up another 2. Probably each guy hits 1. Why not?
Why not? Why not? This 6 days left, if you count today, in the regular season. Then we're going to be all over the baseball playoffs here at DTL. I can promise you that. Probably a pick for every single game in the baseball playoffs. I can predict that. I know a guy who actually runs this show. All right. There's many of you who were not here at the top of the hour. We understand. We've already seen guys have to leave for meetings. What are the bosses thinking? You can't give them an hour just to kind of work your way into the day, hang out with your favorite crew members, your favorite family members. That's exactly what we are, but we understand. So we like to go back over, make sure nothing has changed, make sure there's no injuries, and a little something we like to call the Whiparound. Now, wait a second. Producer man, I need a 4-shot. Yeah, you're laughing over there, big boy. You know exactly where I'm going. Liddy says, I see those hats that Coach is wearing on Love Island. Right, DG? Hey, that's just stupid. But leave it to DG to go into the chat. Ha, 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 at Liddy. It didn't even make any sense. And you're laughing and you're provoking the chat members, DG. I thought you were better than that.
You got to stoke the fire. Like that's what everybody knows that. You stoke the fire, let it burn.
Also, my man, I'll give you let it burn. Mark says, I know a guy that has a pretty good Major League Baseball model if you need one, Coach. Mark, I might actually have a spot on the show here very soon. If you know, you know. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. All right, it is the whip around. We like to do, one little nugget, maybe 10 or 15 seconds for each play on the board, including our props today. So, DG, start us off. What do you like?
You can Google Kirk Cignetta. He's going to run off with this game. Indiana -6.5 at -115.
I like it a lot. And the reason it's so important to play a game early, look at that number 6.5. What if it goes up to 7? What if it goes up to 7.5? See what I'm talking about? Football is the only sport you want to jump on a number if you like it in real time. Now, Soupy is on Army -13.5, -108. And then he's on the Mets and the Braves over 8, -115. And I can tell you that the crew in the chat did not vote for this game and this bet to be their crew pick. I'll reveal that in just a couple of minutes. Now, Raphael, Arizona, back home, stumbled last night. You don't believe that will happen today?
No, they stumbled, but I'm going to take the first 5 money line on the D-backs +105 because Logan Webb is on the mound and he's lost back-to-back starts. So I think the Diamondbacks jump on him early. So I'll take the first 5 with the plus money.
Charles, La Liga, 3 games today, including perhaps the best team of the 3. They certainly have the best player in the world now. Talk to me.
Yeah, Real Madrid versus Alaves. Real Madrid averaging 3 team goals at home and Alaves conceding 2.5 on the road. Give me Real Madrid team total over 2.5.
Oh, I like that a lot. Just score, baby. Just score, score, score. By the way, Robbie Hockey DG says, well, Weekend Wages became a 2-man show after that. Thanks a lot, Mark. Hey, sometimes you got to leave your boys behind. You know what I mean? Got to take on a bigger opportunity. It's the way it works. It's the way it works. Now, as far as the props are concerned, DG, we're going straight to the WNBA.
These two teams, these two teams will have the best game of the night. We're going to Chelsea Gray over 11.5 points at -115, and then Skylar Diggins-Smith, who's playing the best outside of Asia Wilson. We're going to go over 15.5 points at -110.
I love WNBA props, and I love the WNBA playoffs. Lock in, get in. Soupy's on 2 plays today. Framber Valdez for the Astros over 6.5 strikeouts, -115. And Aaron Judge, if you're going to play him to hit a home run, why wouldn't you play this one? He only needs a double to cash this at +120. Big Chuck, you're staying with Real Madrid, but a different play. Talk to me.
Over 6.5 corners. They average 6.7 on the season, and I see them camping out on Alaves' side of the pitch. So, yeah, I have them getting at least 7 corners today.
All right. Chicago Pat says I took the rebounds and Madrid in a parlay. Sounds like something we could potentially do with Prize Picks. Maybe we'll do that. Raphael, let's circle back to the WNBA.
Yeah, we'll take MVP Wilson under 11.5 rebounds, laying of 3 nickels. Her last 3 games have hit this prop, and those last 3 games, she's only averaged 8 boards a game.
All right, we've got a little issue here, and we always want to make it right and be transparent. Michael says the first 5 on Arizona is not plus money. First money line is minus 140, but you have a minus a half. Let's go back to the straight picks page and make sure we get that play correct. It is Arizona first 5 plus 105 on the money line. Is that correct with the juice, or is that
it was last night. It could have moved. I haven't checked this morning on it, so let me try to. My Don Best screen has not been working this morning, so I got to make an angry customer service phone call after this. So.
But Michael, thank you. We sent a lot of these in last night, and then Raphael double checks them with his machine, which is broken right now. So we want to make sure everybody gets the right juice at the right place. But we both could be right, and I think we are. Excuse me right there. I apologize. Big Cheesy says, I can get you an Underdog Fantasy sponsorship, coach. I doubt you can, but I think we're good. I think we'll make those calls. DJ, your boy's feeling froggy today.
Listen, if he can get money, baby, let's talk.
All right, tomorrow we look ahead to the college games of the week. Anything early, DG, that you sunk your teeth into college-wise this week outside of Indiana?
Yeah, so that Indiana game, same thing. I do like the first quarter for sure. I think it's 10.5 at FanDuel. You can go over that, I believe. And then also Ole Miss they're going against Kentucky. Kentucky has a very good defense. I believe that they're still going to score early. And so look at that game to go over in the first quarter. They just haven't put out numbers for that Ole Miss Kentucky game just yet.
All right, we'll have all the big games locked and loaded tomorrow. Make sure you follow my man, Big Chuck. There's a full slate of games today. We've got La Liga. We have cup games. There's a lot of, I think Man City plays today as well. But with all that being said, well done today, guys. I will tell you that the Padres and the Dodgers over is the crew play of the day. So let's all root for that one together and understand this. There's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets right here live on Stadium, straight to the pay window. My attacker, Lobo, my man from the Dirty Charles, DG, Raphael, producer man. I'm the coach. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's what we're all about every day right here. DTL live on Stadium. Good luck.